Oh, hi there, welcome back to my YouTube channel. This is Pooja at A Book by the Window. I hope you guys are doing good. I hope you guys are reading good. Now, this is another one of those review videos that I'm going to talk about a book that I recently read. And usually I make these videos on a Monday evening. I work from home on that day, so I have the liberty to take some time making this video. But today, because it's on Sunday and I have some time at hand, I decided I might as well bite the bullet and get started on it. Also because I have a lot to talk about this book. I did a week-long reading challenge for this one and I made sure I finish it in time, but at the end of it I had a lot of thoughts about it and whether or not I feel like the time that I invested in reading it was worth my while. I'm going to talk about it in this video. If you want to check out that video, I'm going to link in the description box below. Please do check it out. It's a fun vlog where I try to do this 7-day reading challenge, hold myself accountable for whatever I'm reading, and I promise that I'm going to come with an elaborate video review of this book, so that's why we are here today. The book that I'm talking about is Yellow Face by R.F. Kuang. This is a very popular book. I am not very active on Bookstagram or Book Twitter anymore. I don't go searching for a lot of books there. But even then, I have seen so many of the Bookstagrammers and readers talk about this book, promote this book. I've seen this sassy cover. It's a really sassy cover that builds your intrigue. So I'm all for it, and when I got a notification from my local library that I can borrow this book, I went running to it and got my hands on it. Enough of the chit chat. I know I talk a lot. I like talking about random things in my life, and thank you for listening to me so far. For now, let's get into the video. Let's talk about the plot of the book first, as we do here. It's a story about two young upcoming authors. They go to the same school, they have the same kind of credentials in their resume, but one is tainted as the next big thing in the literary industry and another one cannot even get a publisher to publish a paperback for her. We see Athena is a person of color, a Chinese writer who uses her ethnicity and want to combine her unique experience into her work and bring those voices forward. As for June, she thinks that she should be where Athena is because honestly they have the right kind of skills, they have the right kind of credentials, and what she writes she can also write. Only she feels like Athena is always sympathizing her cause under the garb of being a writer of color, and she seems very jealous, envious, and almost to the point of discounting those stories. And she truly believes that she is the right owner of all of the supposedly lucky things Athena is getting. So that's where the stage is set. Both of them are really good friends. They often talk about their desires and wish and their tryst with the literary industry and where they are at their career. They go on museum trips together. They talk about everything under the sun as two girlfriends do. And in the first chapter itself, we are told that during one of these late night activities where they are celebrating a certain win that Athena had, June witnessed her getting into a freak accident and she dies. Don't come at me that I'm telling a spoiler because it is right in front of you. It's in the blurb. It's in the first 20 pages. So that's out of the way. But what she does is she steals her manuscript that she's writing about the experiences of Chinese migrant laborers during the British and the French War in World War I. And that's when the story starts. So now we have this very interesting story presented to us, and I am going to talk about the writing of the book now. The writing is very straightforward, easy to read sentences. It is in first person account where June is talking about her experience. She goes into the past about her friendship with Athena, how she feels about her death, and how she feels about the plan that she has for herself, and how she truly deserved that she was the person who brought the story forward, even though Athena is dead now and she had a rough manuscript that she took it with herself and thought very rightfully she was the person chosen to voice it out. She believes in her own ability to come up with certain plots, and she believes that she only needed a rough draft and she is the one who made sure it made the final cut. So no one has to know that she's not the original author. She has this confidence about herself that Villain does, where she would make you feel bad about herself. She would make you feel bad about her being in that situation. And to begin with, Athena was really mean to her. She was rude to her. So she has a right to justify her actions in the form of all the things that she does to hide this lie. And the writing is simple. It is fast paced in the first half. In the second half, although I feel that it was dragging on a bit, but in the first half, the writing is really bad and it tries to pull you into page turners, events that you did not expect, and suddenly they came like a slap in your face, which is nice. I like books like those that keep you hooked. And even though it is a lot of drama, and for some people they would say like it is unreal for these things to happen, we are reading a story, we are reading a book. You don't need to be overly analyzing of those things. Just believe and go with the plot, because I read books for fun also, and I wanted that entertaining factor. So it certainly has an entertaining factor to it. Another thing about the writing is it talks in satire, and it talks about the cancel culture that we have today, the Twitterati dramas, and everyone coming with pitchforks for a right cause and a wrong cause. It is so common these days with social media that everyone has a voice, and with everyone having a voice, it also means that everyone pulls together to cancel someone or not to cancel someone, or to have so many opinions. So that is what we see in the writing too. And I was very happy with the writing, no qualms. It's not very convoluted, or it doesn't have metaphors, prose. It's straightforward, and it is what it is. It tries to build up drama, and it tries to keep the readers a hook. Now we are going to move on to the highlights of the book. For me personally, the story in itself was very hooking from the beginning. I already talked about it, but I like the fact that it talks about the malpractices in the publishing industry so much. From my experience, you know me, I was on Bookstagram for a few years, and then I was also trying to write blogs, reviews, but very soon my interest dwindled because I could see that only a particular kind of genre is sometimes promoted, to the point that you would see all of these popular books strewn across social media. We live in a society that social currency is a thing, and who am I to say? I am making this video on YouTube and I'm still very active on Instagram when it comes to it, but I did feel that there is so less voice for unpopular books or books in niches like Hindi literature, for example, or Indian literature, which not a lot of kids are talking about, as I like to call it. When that happens, it's also a very capitalistic society. The whole community is also very capitalistic. I wouldn't shy away from the fact. And so all of these books are hidden, and they're not getting a lot of visibility, exposure. Not a lot of people are coming to know about it. And then that means less sale, less appreciation for that art. It's ever too present. My problem with the book industry is they often paint themselves as being this holier than thou, being this, having this moral upper ground. But the truth of the matter is everyone is the same. It is better you accept it. And that's what is told in this book also. The highlight of the book for me is everyone had an agenda and they went with it. No matter if it is lie or if it is the truth, there is no absolute truth, but everyone wanted to adhere to an agenda and they believed their viewpoint is right and they are willing to do everything to prove it right, which is like not surprising. I've seen so many dramas, so many people coming at authors for writing bad books, tagging them. All of this is described in this book, and honestly, personal opinion, it's a bit childish, so I couldn't keep up with that and I very soon lost interest. Still talk about books like this. I don't want to go there. I don't spend too much time knowing about dramas as is anymore. but I was so happy that someone is talking about it. It's ever too present, and I don't want to act like a snob here because I am not even sure if my actions are always right. But this cancel culture has gone too far. We never talk about arriving at a middle ground. We only talk about what is right and wrong. And also, some of the agendas are governed by capitalistic desires and interest, and they use these social causes to benefit themselves. We have seen it happen before, and it is extensively talked about in this book. I like the satire, I like that commentary. I will always recommend someone read this book just for that. This is about the highlights. Now the lowlights, the real crux, the constructive criticism you all have been waiting for. I would say this should not have been a 300 pages book. This should have been a 200 pages book. It is written in first person where June is talking about herself so much. She's such a big narcissist. We get the point in the first 150 pages. She goes to the point of justifying her own actions, and at one point I believed them. I was siding with her, and I believed maybe people would do the same if they are in her shoes. Yes, that's true, but they extended it to so much. I mean, the author talked about June so much, I was not invested in her story. I did not like her, and there are certain books where you like the book just for the fact that they have a likable characters. This is one of the books, but I couldn't care much for what was happening in the second half. The ending of the book was kind of disappointing for me. I wasn't expecting it to fall so flat after giving me high hopes of something really big happening. For me, it did not happen. The ending of the book was slightly disappointing for me. I had high hopes from the plot because it was keeping me a hook, and I thought there's something big that is going to happen in the climax. But for me, it fell flat without saying a lot because I want you to read the book and make a decision on your own, and I don't want you to give any spoilers. I feel the author could have done little more justice to the ending, little more justice to Athena's story and her revenge. We did see that some kind of revenge is meted out, but I had a lot of mixed feelings while reading it. At one point, I was invested in June's story, but then the plot just shifted to her childhood and her personal struggles, how she wanted to be this big author. But we never see any proof of her being any good. It is just her in her mind who believes that she was meted out for this destiny. She was just overshadowed by Athena, but that was not true. I couldn't invest, I couldn't care for what she thinks about herself. That's what I'm coming at. And towards the end, I wanted to get a reality check for her. That never happened. And as I said, the last 100 pages did not bring anything valuable to me. I already know of these publishing dramas, Twitter dramas. I feel the plot was just building up on the same things over and over again. And I got the point in the first 150 pages, right? I didn't need it to be elaborated so much, and I was not entertained. That was a big letdown for me. All in all, I started off this book thinking I'm gonna give it at least 4 stars, but I am going to give it only 3 stars because half of the book I was not interested in, and the ending kind of disappointed me. So that is my review of the book. I will still say give this a read because it's a popular one and you can quote it somewhere, and you can also have a commentary about how publishing houses, literally the space in art, is also governed with capitalistic mindset, people who pull the strings there. And it is a contemporary read in that sense that it talks about the modern society and it has a very good viewpoint to that. So I would recommend you read this book, but go in with a grain of salt and do not keep your hopes high all the time. You do you. You tell me in the comments below if you have read this book, how you feel about it, because I want to have an honest discussion. This is also the first book of 2023 that I feel disappointed me, and I feel started off really well and I wanted more from it. But that's okay. Everyone has different opinions about different books, and I'm here to talk about all of you guys' opinion. So this is my review of Yellow Face by R.F. Kuang. I have been liking reading popular books and having commentary on all of them. I get to talk about them with other people, and that's what we are here for. If you also like this book or you didn't like this book, do let me know in the comment section below. If you like this video, please like it, share it with your friends. If you like this channel and if you like Talking Me Speak like this, please consider subscribing to the channel. I make book related videos here, and there is also a main channel that is linked in the description box below. You can check it out. For now, I'll take your leave. I've spent a lot of time talk about this book, and I want to give it back to the library already. I'll spend the rest of the Sunday reading another book that I'll bring to you in another video. Till then, happy reading, and do let me know if there is any disappointing read you read this year and what are your thoughts about it. Bye bye, happy reading.